You're listening to the Zep Tepi Studios podcast. Hello there, and welcome to the Zep Tepi Studios podcast. I'm your host, Brittany Proshin. This is a fresh and new podcast, so I'd like to take the time to give you all a quick introduction into who we are and what we're doing here. First of all, everything that I have experienced in my life has led me to this moment, to this time in my life where I'm now undertaking these projects and using my experience and my knowledge to benefit the lives of others. At the age of 15, I fell ill and became bedridden with chronic pain and mysterious health conditions. Since I could not move my body, I took the time to train my mind and to learn as much as I possibly could. I learned about nutrition, ancient history, and the way of the ancient cultures all around terra firma. In 2014, I had a near-death experience. I was prescribed fentanyl for chronic pain, and it shut my body down. I was lucky enough to get a second chance, but now with a deep, deep sense of higher purpose. After surviving that experience, I made the life-changing decision to leave everything I knew behind, where I grew up my whole life, my family, everything, and I moved to the other side of the country to live in the beautiful Pacific Northwest of Canada. And from there, I decided to create the life of my dreams, and I understood that I was completely capable of doing so, and same with everybody else. Fast forward to now, I have an amazing fiance, we have a beautiful daughter, and 5 animals, and we live in a beautiful, cozy home nestled in the misty mountains of the Pacific Northwest. We are surrounded by endless, breathtaking nature and wildlife, and I love it. And so now I create art inspired by the ancient cultures and knowledge that kept me alive, that allowed me to survive, and now to heal and thrive with the intent that it does that for others as well. This knowledge that has helped me to get to this point in my life has been mostly lost by our world today. So I really, really feel called to shed light on this forgotten knowledge and my personal experience and wisdom from everything that I've gone through in this life, in hopes that it impacts others in the most positive way possible. I create this art to remind us all to be present, to enjoy the simple beauties of life, and how precious life truly is. I think we could all use a little bit more of that, don't you think? In the next podcast episode, I'll go into the story deeper and talk about this in more detail. So if you're interested in hearing about my near-death experience and how it shaped who I am today, then subscribe to our podcast and you'll be notified when that episode is released. So very recently, me and my fiance Rigo have created a project together which we have named Zep Tepi Studios. Zep Tepi is the ancient Egyptian name for what they call the first time. Zep means time and Tepi means first. Put together, they are the first time. This time is also known as what the ancients called the Golden Age of Alchemy. This is the time in our history where the quote-unquote gods moved through the void and created the grids of our current reality that we reside in today. We know these gods as the Egyptian gods today. They were said to be like a race of beings that co-created this realm. Many of the ancient structures and pyramids that you see today and coexisted with the very early human beings. There is speculation that they genetically engineered us and could be partially responsible for the current human design that we are today. They allegedly came to this reality loosely based on the precession of the equinoxes approximately 12,500 years ago. Much of the ancient cultures that we observe in our past spoke about the first time, or what we call Zep Tepi. And the teachings, practices, and the art of that time has echoed throughout the different ancient cultures that we see today. And they have ties to Zep Tepi, for it is said that a lot of them were originally survivors of that global civilization that existed at the time of Zep Tepi. So, studying the knowledge of the ancients has truly opened my consciousness up to different perspectives on the many seemingly unanswered questions that we all have as human beings. These questions are, what is life? Who are we? And what are we doing here? What is our purpose? What is beyond this realm of perception? These are questions that we have all been asking and exploring since the dawn of human existence. I really believe that the ancients had a lot of answers to these questions, or at least something close to it. And that's worth something. That's tremendously valuable information worth sharing. Combining all of this with my personal near-death experience, being gifted with a second chance, and not skipping a beat when it comes to taking action to create the life that I want to live. No excuses. Not after what I have learned. And now I want to help teach other people about this information and how to apply to their lives. And one way is through art, and also through this podcast and having conversations, because that is extremely important. Real, raw conversations. And I think both I am able to provide very well. So diving into this and creating a family-run business and this podcast has been a very, very exciting adventure, and I honestly can't wait to see where this all goes. Anyone that knows me knows that I have the drive of 10,000 men, so anything is possible at this point. I've always been drawn to art and sculpting, and I find it to be very beneficial therapy. Me and my family have picked up this hobby together, and now this project has been born. Zep Tepi Studios is a place where ancient symbolism and minimalist design meet. We aim to bring you impactful art that bring beauty to your environment while also reminding you of how precious and miraculous life truly is. So check out our shop or subscribe to our podcast for real and raw conversation where we discuss anything art, life, health, and of course, personal development. And I think these are things that we can all share in common, So join the conversation, check us out on social media, and thank you for listening, and be sure to check out the next episodes coming out. All right, have a great, wonderful day. Visit our website at www.zeptepistudios.com and our Instagram at Zep Tepi Studios.